Hey guys, it's me, Explosive Phoenix. This is gonna get saddening, okay? Whatever. June 29th of last month, we lost one of the best comic book writers, in my opinion. He was an artist. His name was Steve Ditko. He is the co-creator of Spider-Man and also Doctor Strange. He was with Marvel for a long time with his career. He got inducted into the Comics Hall of Fame. He's in the I'm doing a fact check so I can get information right. He created Spider-Man with Stan Lee. Lee at the time approached Jack Kirby, who was also a part of creating Spider-Man. They came up with various names like Silver Spider in Spider-Man. And I'm talking about the creation of it, by the way. Ditko helped develop a visual motif for Spider-Man. Lee enjoyed enough that Lee, unfortunately, when they did the original cover, Kirby's got replaced by Ditko's. Ditko, he helped Spider-Man he was a part of Amazing Fantasy number 15, August 1962, Spider-Man's first ever appearance. It was a top seller at the time, and then Spider-Man was given his own series, The Amazing Spider-Man. Ditko and Lee helped create a lot of Spider-Man characters like Doc Ock, Sandman, Lizard, Electro, Green Goblin. Ditko wanted credit for his plot in contributing the Marvel method, and in issue number 25 of The Amazing Spider-Man, Ditko finally received plot credit for his stories. Issue number 33 is one of the best issues of the Lee and Ditko era. The comic is called, it's the third part of a story arc, If This Be My Destiny. It's Spider-Man, through force of will, escaping and fought the family. He's escaping from being pinned by heavy machinery. Ditko did a lot with Marvel. I'm sorry if this is kind of getting a little emotional. The guy is an idol of mine because, quite frankly, he did a lot with Marvel. He didn't only do Marvel, though, because he was the creator of his notable works include The Creeper, Hawk and Dove, Mr. A, Question, Captain Atom, and Blue Beetle, to name a few. And those are at least all his characters. Doctor Strange launched in Strange Tales number 110. Ditko and Lee relaunched the Hulk series as a short feature in the anthology Tales to Astonish, beginning with issue number 60. Ditko, inked by George Rosius, penciled the feature through number 67. Ditko designs the Hulk's primary antagonist, the leader, number 62. Ditko also penciled Iron Man in Tales of Suspense number 47 through 49. Unfortunately, Ditko's work with the Spider-Man movies, he's never received credit for him, and he never received credit, I believe, in Doctor Strange. I'll have to go watch that again to make sure, but I never saw any credit like Doctor Strange co-created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, for instance. I never saw anything when I watched the movie for the first time. I'll have to go rewatch it again and sometime and report back that Ditko was really big in the comics in the 90s because we wouldn't have Spider-Man or Doctor Strange if it wasn't for Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. Sure, some other company might have created them, but they might have named it something else or something different. Ditko returned to DC Comics in 1975. He created Shade the Changing Man from 1977 to 78. His art is I feel like is real well known in comics. Sure, there's a lot of other artists in comics, in Marvel, for instance, that are really good. Like John Romita, for instance, with Spider-Man. I enjoy his artwork a lot with Spider-Man. Ditko revived the Creeper for DC. He did the Demon Backup series in 1979. It was a short series. He did DC's horror and science fiction anthologies. Ditko was a guest artist on several issues of Legion of Superheroes. Ditko also drew the Prince Gavin version of Starman in Adventure Comics number 467 to 478. He contributed to DC again in the 1980s with 4 pinups of his characters for Who's Who, the definitive directory of the DC Universe, and he did a pinup for Superman number 400 in his companion portfolio. Ditko returned to Marvel in 1979, after taking over Jack Kirby's Machine Man, drawing the Micronauts and Captain Universe, who I'm not at all familiar with that character, so if you're familiar with a character and you want to tell me about it, tell me in the comments of this video down below. Okay. He did freelance for the company into the late 1990s. He penciled the last 2 years of Ditko did Rom the Space Knight. Interesting. He's penciled the last 2 years of the Space Robot series Rom. A Godzilla story by Ditko and Marv Wolfman was changed into a Dragon Lord story, published in Marvel Spotlight. Ditko and Tom DeFalco helped create Speedball. It's a character in the Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 22, and Ditko drew a 10-issue series based on the character. He also helped work for independent comics, Pacific Comics, beginning with Captain Victory and the Galactic Rangers. He introduced the superhero Missing Man. A lot of his work is with Marvel. And he also did DC. I really enjoy his work with Spider-Man. You know, it just empowers me to go through and read a comic from Amazing Spider-Man that Ditko himself and Lee drew. Lee and Ditko are like were two of the best comic book writers at the time. He and Ditko and Lee were some of the best at their time. He also worked with Lee and Ditko would take Strange into even more abstract realms. They did a seven-issue story arc in Strange Tales number 130 to 146. That was from March 1965 to July 1966. And they introduced the cosmic character Entity, who personified the universe and was depicted as a silhouette whose outlines are filled with cosmos. Ditko worked on Blue Beetle 1967 to 68, The Question 1967 to 68, and Captain Atom 1965 to 1967, returning to the character he'd co-created in 1960. In 1966 and 1967, he drew 16 more stories, most of them written by Archie Goodwin for Warren's publishing horror comic magazines, Creepy and Eerie, generally using an ink wash technique. 1967. Okay. 1967, Ditko gave his objectivist ideas ultimate expression in the form of Mr. A, published in Wally Wood's independent title, Wits in Number 3. Ditko hard line against criminals was controversial. Okay. In 1968, Ditko co-created the Creeper in Showcase number 73, April 1968. Ditko co-created the team Hawk and Dove in Showcase number 75, 1968, June 1968. He penciled the lead story written and inked by Wally Wood. In Wood's early mature audience independent comics publication Heroes Inc. presents Canon, 1969. Ditko would work on all 6 issues of the Creeper's own title, Beware the Creeper, June 1968 to April 1969, leading through the final one, and the reasons for his departure uncertain. While DC, Ditko recommended Charlton staffer Dick Gordiano to the company. He would go on to become a top DC penciler, inker, editor, and ultimately in 1981 the managing editor. Ditko did a lot with Marvel, and he did a lot with DC as well. Ditko was found unresponsive in his apartment in New York City on June 29, 2018. Police said he had died within the previous 2 days. He was pronounced dead at age 90, with the cause of death initially deemed as a result of myocardial infarction brought on by an atherosclerotic and hypertensive cardiovascular disease. This is a huge loss for the comics industry because he helped create 2 of Marvel's founding characters in Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. Thank you guys for watching. I'm sorry. This has been Explosive Phoenix and James Bond. I'm going to be talking about James Bond next video. Thank you guys for watching. I planned to do James Bond over this one, but since I saw the news about this on the internet about Steve Ditko that he died, I just had to go into detail. I had to go into that realm of mine. I had to put this ahead of what was scheduled to be planned, but we'll be back on schedule next week. Next Monday, back on schedule. Thank you all for watching. This has been Explosive Phoenix. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you're a fan of comics, movies, and video games. Yeah, and TV shows. I have more content on the way. Until then, may the Phoenix watch over you guys. Bye, guys.